So I just watched Changing of the Guard, and is it just me that's surprised we went this entire episode without calling Rat Trap a bilge rat? Otherwise known as the episode where Rat Trap plays Subnautica, this is about recovering Sentinel, the AI that the Maximal base used for its defensive systems. And this is an interesting take for an episode, to be honest. So by now we're so used to the Maximal base being auto-defended that we pretty much just got used to, like, essentially, like, sometimes even the entire cast of the show charging into battle, and we didn't really think about it. We didn't really think about, like, the Maximal base is unguarded. There's no one left at the base. No, Sentinel's got it, just turn on the shields, turn on the auto guns, and everything's safe at home. We don't have that anymore. With a new base and one that is in a very crude position, they are very, very limited. We have this big jury-rigged blast doors, and that is it. So to actually highlight this as an episode is a really good take, and it's an interesting concept. So, as we go through the episode, lots of good moments here. It's a much more comedically toned episode than we've been getting lately, which is kind of a nice change of pace, because it's been pretty serious. Like, we got Edgelord episode out of the way last time, and then here where we get a little bit more classic cartoon, I would say. So in this episode, we do get some reestablishment that Black Arachnia knows her tech. She's the one who designed this little aquatic bubble that Rat Trap's going to have to pilot. And yeah, it's a nice little reminder, and it's a reminder we're going to need for a few episodes down the road. And yeah, it's actually nice to see her working with the Maximals on stuff like this. It's nice to see her starting to come full circle, as it were. The same sequence we actually got to see Cheetor daydreaming too. It's been a while since we had a prophetic dream with Cheetor. He had him more than once in season 1, but this time he's just kind of like imagining, and he's daydreaming of himself in his original beast mode, which is weird. We have not seen it since not even season 2. We haven't even seen it since like late season 1 at this point. Let's see. So the bulk of the episode, however, is going to take place underwater, not surprisingly. We just spent an episode with a scene underwater, but this one spends quite a bit of time under there, and it's a fun sequence. Rat Trap swimming around, getting used to the bubble pod, and just like basically tooling around underwater. Seems like he's enjoying himself. It's a fun sequence. I love like the special background music. One of my favorite gags in Beast Wars is the background music kicks in, and it's just Rat Trap, just going through the water, swimming along happily. And then you cut back to Silverbolt with a radio in his hand, and the background music is playing through the radio. It's such a good, simple gag. Little fourth wall breaking, but it's fun. Yeah, we get to see the remains of the Axelon in this episode, and it's actually weird. It's so weird to see, like, because we remember, this is 2 seasons worth of that being home base. It's where the Maximals were safe. It's, a lot of episodes taking place there, a lot of good scenes, and it's so weird just to see Rat Trap swimming through the corridors that are all dark and damaged, going into the engine room that Rat Trap knows so well, that already tried to kill him once to retrieve Sentinel. It's interesting to me. It's actually quite appropriate that the one who first tested Sentinel and had to infiltrate the base when it first went online is now the one that has to recover it from the ship. It's an interesting mirror of Sentinel's introduction for its reintroduction. Masculine voice, but it's still just a box. All right. And because this is an underwater episode, of course, we're getting Depth Charge and Rampage back at it. They're going to spend most of the season quarreling with each other. Depth Charge is basically the answer to Rampage. He is basically the only Maximal big and tough enough to actually handle him on a 1-to-1 basis consistently. And the fight scenes here are good. Once again, they make good use of the underwater sequence, the underwater setting. And we actually get to see Depth Charge being a little bit more of a team player. He does come to Rat Trap's rescue, and he's more amicable when agreeing to, like, let me get my mission out of the way, and then I'll get out of your hair. And then, he's happy. Depth Charge is happy with that. So he's already a little bit mellowed from his debut episode, and he's already getting into that, like, loner anti-hero area that makes him a little bit more fun to watch. It makes him a cooler character. So he's still got some learning to do in this episode, though. Let's see. When Rat Trap gets Sentinel and gets out of the water, we have this really nice sequence where Scott McNeil ambushes Scott McNeil while he is carrying Scott McNeil. And that is to say, Waspinator is the one who ambushes Silverbolt when he's getting Rat Trap out of the water and back to base. So... and it's not the only scene where it's like just those three. So like that's one of those times where like the rest of the voice actors just walk out, get coffee, and let Scott McNeil run the whole scene. I'm really surprised that there is no bottle episode in this series where it is literally just Scott McNeil's characters. Just like somewhere in season 2, it's just Rat Trap, Dinobot, and Silverbolt on some kind of mission, and Waspinator is literally the only Predacon in the show. It is literally just him in the voice cast, just all by himself. Let's see. But it is fun, and it also leads to another sight gag that I really like, which is Rat Trap pinballing amongst the rocks. So good that they're actually using the ball to have a little bit of fun. We do learn a lot here. Naturally, like, Megatron has been waiting for the Maximals to salvage Sentinel. There's a little camera bot that spots them. We assume that that's just been there waiting for the Maximals to return to the location of their base. They salvaged plenty, obviously, but apparently Megatron got wise. Let's see. So we get a little bit from Predacons here and there. For starters, we learn that Rampage can shoot missiles out his butt. Very important detail. We learned that Quick Strike, he actually references that he's been looking for Rampage since the previous episode, which has a little bit of minor continuity, but I like that they included it. Inferno actually is the one that comes off the smartest in this entire episode. He's in the right place at the right times to intercept the Maximals. He's definitely putting up the most threat to reclaiming Sentinel. And he's in exactly the right time to claim Sentinel when the Maximals happen to crash into each other. So to Depth Charge's credit, when he loses track of Rampage, he actually does remember that he is a Maximal, which Silverbolt called him out on in this episode, and tries to fly off to help when he hears that something is going on, crashes into everybody, everyone crashes to the ground, Maximals lose Sentinel. It's a big mistake for Depth Charge to make, and it does kind of make him see Primal's reasoning a little bit more. There's a major thing going on here on this planet, and he is actively making it worse by being such a hotshot loner. So we do see him willing to join in on the team a little bit. At the very least, he makes peace with Primal here. He's going to act as a loner, much like Tigatron and Air Razor were. Just every now and then we see him at the base, but for the most part he does whatever he wants. But it does like mellow him out from the previous episode. So good on him for making a little bit of character growth here. This is probably the biggest win the Predacons get of the entire series. Not only is this a total victory for them in the episode, but getting the Maximal security program puts the Maximals in an even worse situation than they were before. Not only are they stuck in the mountain base guarding the Ark, they also cannot gain access to the Predacon base. Now, in retrospect, in the larger picture, it's a completely meaningless win because we only see Sentinel online once at the Predacon base after this episode. And it's not any help because it's against Tigerhawk. meaning in the grand scheme, this was a completely worthless win. But we're viewing the episodes in and of themselves, and in and of itself, this is an enjoyable episode. The comedic bits might ruin a little bit of the tone for some people. I think it's a good mix. I wouldn't say it's a masterful episode, but I do really, really like this one. And I love giving the Predacons such a huge win. It really does just set up how... it takes a situation the Maximals are already on the back foot on and makes it so much worse. So that is the review of Changing of the Guard. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, we roll right along with more of Season 3. And again, if you want to see more after this, and meaning if you want to see Beast Machines after this, my Patreon is really close to making that goal happen. So thank you to everyone who participates there and made these reviews possible. And I will see you on the next one. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.